Hey everyone, how you doing? Welcome to the Spring 2020 Infrastructure Trial training. I wanted to provide you guys with this so you knew exactly what was going on Tuesday, January 28th during second period. We will be doing the school's infrastructure trial. If you were here last year, you remember we go through this prior to the spring, and the purpose of this is to find out any computer issues or connectivity issues that we're having throughout the campus. And it's not actually any type of test for the students. It's really just more of a test for our hardware, software, and infrastructure. So basically, we're going to do this with all the computers we're planning on using for testing, and we're going to do this in all of the testing locations that we're going to be using for spring testing. I've printed copies of the trial guide, and I'm putting those in your boxes today. And like I said, this isn't for student practice. This is really just to see if we can hold up with this many computers on the system and if any individual computers need to be repaired. So the detailed instructions and kind of where we start in the guide, and I'm going to show you the guide in a minute, is going to be on page 6 through 12. And the trial, all in all, from start to finish, should take about 20 minutes. So for any of you who have ever administered an FSA through the FSA Portal, you're familiar with fsassessments.org. That's the website that we go to. I'm going to show you what that looks like. And we're going to be using the TA training site for this one. It's over on the left-hand side of the screen. When you log in, it's not the typical button on the top right. So the test selection window will open. When we log in, I'm going to show you what all this looks like. We're going to click on the infrastructure test, not any of the subject area tests, and then we are going to start up a practice session that's going to begin with TRAIN, train, instead of our typical FL that we get in the spring. This will make our session ID, and then the students will be able to log in. When they begin, the script, actually what you say, starts on page 8. You'll see there's only a couple pieces of instruction on this test, and that starts on page 8. And I'm going to again show you exactly what that looks like. And then the students will inform you of any problems they have, and we'll have forms with the laptop cards where you can identify what machines are having the problems, and we can get those fixed prior to the spring. Also, we're going to be using headphones and earbuds. There is sound. We will want to check the sound on the machines, and that could be a potential issue as well. You can go ahead and notify the kids ahead of time if they want to bring their own earbuds or headphones, as long as they're a standard 3.5 millimeter jack and not the Apple Lightning. They should be absolutely fine with those. And then we're going to get them logged in. They're basically going to Christmas tree through it, and we'll be done. The script reminds them that they don't have to pay attention to the content, and the answers don't need to be correct. They're just testing to make sure they can get through it. And when they're done, they're going to hit end test, submit test, and then log out. Once everybody's done, the trainer is going to stop the session. If we have any problems during testing, please notate the computer number on the provided sheet. We're going to be providing you with a sheet where you can write down the computer number, the cart that it was in, and then what the problem is. And please provide details. Last year we got a lot of doesn't work, and that's not the best verbiage to get these things fixed. So if you could just provide a little bit more detail. Computer boots up, student logs in, and then it crashes, or computer does not turn on at all. Whatever it is that's going on, if you could just narrate it to the best of your abilities, that would be very beneficial. And that's all I have for my slideshow. So now I want to actually show you kind of what this looks like. And if any of you guys have any questions or concerns, don't worry, I'm here for you, and I'll be able to help you out in any way possible. So let me get out of here real quick. And I want to kind of take you over to what it is that I'm talking about. So when we log into fsassessments.org, this is the page that you're going to see. For anybody who's done this before, this should look pretty familiar. And for anybody who's new to DeLand High School and hasn't done this before, I'll be adding you into the system, and you'll be getting an email from AirTide to set up your password to get in here. But when we go to fsassessments.org, this is where we're going, and this is what we'll see. Now, if you remember with the big testing, we come over here and we click on Administer the FSA. We're not doing that this time. Where we are instead is over here in Test Administration. We're going to click on Test Administration, and then that's going to take us to TA training site, right here where my cursor is, TA training site. So we're going to click on this, and when we click on this, it wants it to do it again on a second page. It's always been that way. I don't know why, but we're going to click on it again. Now, then we're going to get prompted for our login. So I've got my login here, so I'm going to log in. And one thing that I always do is I save this to my favorites right here. So I can just click on that and it will take me right there. You might want to do that as well. Now, I'm using Chrome, and I think that Chrome is probably the most updated browser that we have here, so that's what I would suggest you use. I wouldn't use Edge. We've had problems with Edge before, and I know that the support for Internet Explorer I think is pretty much gone. So you know, Mozilla Firefox, maybe Chrome are probably your best bet. So I go to secure login here, and now this is going to happen, and I'm glad it did. It's going to happen to everybody who's using Chrome. The pop-up blocker is going to block it. And where we're going to rectify that is right up here, where this little red X is that says pop-ups were blocked. We're going to click on that, and we're going to click always allow. And now, even though you think like with a normal website, oh, okay, this will never happen again, that's not the case, because this HTTPS website, it's completely new and unique every time you generate one. So that pop-up blocker is going to come every time. So you just hit always allow and then done. And then you come down here and hit refresh, and now we are good to go. All right, so this is the screen you're going to see. All right, we are going to go here to Infrastructure Trial Test. We're going to expand. We're going to hit the check mark here next to FSA Infrastructure Trial Test, and then down here to the bottom where it says Start Practice Session. So as a proctor, that's what we need to do first. So this is going to be the session ID that the students are going to use to log in. I would do this as soon as second period begins. You can go ahead maybe at the end of first period actually and get this ready to go. And you can write this up on the board. This session, as long as you have your computer open, it will stay open. So I would have this up on the board. This is what the students are going to use to sign in. And then as they sign in, your approvals are going to appear here. You see mine's kind of grayed out because I don't have any students logging in. But now I'm going to show you kind of what they see from their end. So you know if that's really where the problems are going to be, if there are any. So this is what a student is going to see. So I don't have a student machine, so I can't replicate it exactly. But when they click on the FSA Portal, which is this little icon you see here, it will be on their desktop. They're used to doing it. It's what they log in for every test. They're clicking on the same portal that they always click on. And they're going to get taken to the sign-in screen that is unique to them. Now, it's not going to look exactly like this. There's going to be a box down here in the corner that says go to practice test site, and that's going to be blue on their machine. So when they click on that blue box, they're going to be taken to this page. All right, and they're going to make sure that it says practice test site. Everything's green down here at the bottom. And they're going to be given these options. Instead of putting in their individual student user ID, it's going to say guest user and guest session. So from this page, all the students doing, they are going to log in as a guest user, so that's going to stay on, but they are not going to log in with a guest session. So we've got to actually click on this as a student and turn this off. That is then going to prompt the session ID that you have up on the board, and the students are going to load in the second half of that session ID. So if you remember back here, we have train 4C6A-5 up on the board already. Well, luckily for them, if anyone's spelling impaired, train is already in there. So they've only got to put it in the back end. All right, so they're putting in the back end there, and then they're clicking sign in. And then you are going to see them start to populate individually here under your approvals. And when you click on that approvals, you can either approve them one at a time with little green check marks, or there's going to be a box at the top that says approve all students, and that's the easiest way to do it. So you can just approve all students and move on. All right, so hopefully that was pretty self-explanatory. and nobody has too many questions at this point. This is the guide that I'm going to be putting in your box, the Florida Standards Assessment Infrastructure Trial Guide. It tells you everything you need to know, just reiterates what I just said. The beginning part talks about a diagnostics test, and let's not worry about running the diagnostic readiness tool, because I know that our computers should already have this browser, and if they don't, we're going to fix it. And we should all be running Windows 7 or higher. So I think we should be good. So let's not worry about the diagnostics test. What we're going to worry about is here where it says running the infrastructure trial, which is on page 6. And this just kind of walks you through everything I just told you, how to do everything with some photos. And then as well, this is where we get into our script. So our script, as you can see, is just 1, 2, 3, we're in 4, 5, and then pretty much the end part, 6, 7, and that's it. All right, so that's all we're going to say. And when we're done with that and the students are all logged out, we close down our session and we go about our busy days. I can't thank you guys enough for tuning into this training. If you do have any questions, please contact me here in the testing center. My direct extension is 23386. I'll come and see you. I will help you out, and we will get through this. Thank you very much, guys, and I will see you all soon.